Hello, my name is Dylan Woodbury, and this is going to be a video tutorial series on how to make web games using HTML5. HTML5 is a super awesome technology for making games because it's really easy to use and it works on all computers and mobile phones and web browsers. So I just want to show you what's possible using HTML5 before we get started. This is a portfolio website I made after I graduated college, and it actually landed me my first job in the games industry. I made the whole thing using HTML5. You can browse my projects, and it plays videos and gives you descriptions, and it has a full functioning shoot 'em up game at the top. So I hope by the end of this series, you're going to be able to do something like this, or something even cooler. So with that being said, let's get started. First thing you have to do is download the IDE we're going to be using. So this is the tool we're going to be programming with. So go to aptana.com and hit the download button. And then you're going to need to scroll down and click the link beneath how to download Aptana. So if you have a Mac, you're going to download the DMG file and go through the installation process. Otherwise, if you have a Windows computer, hit the exe file. So after you install that, we'll get started actually programming. Alright, now that we have Aptana installed and open on our computer, we're going to create our first project. So to create a project, first you go to File, and then under New, select Web Project, since we're going to be making a web game. We're going to go with the default project, which is going to start us off with an empty project. And we need to give our project a name. So I'm going to call mine First Project, but you can call it whatever you want, and select Finish. So nothing happens yet. That's because we have an empty project so far. So we need to go ahead and create our first file. To do that, go to File, and under New, select File. Go ahead and pick the project you just made, and under File Name, we're going to name it index.html. So that specifies that it's going to be an HTML file so that our web browser can open it up and it'll run our web game. So to structure an HTML file, first we need to create HTML elements. So in HTML, to create an element, first you hit the less than sign. Since this is going to be an HTML element, type HTML, and then hit the greater than sign to close the element. And then we're going to hit enter. So this second line is created for us. It's going to close the element. So everything between these two lines, the computer is going to know that it's HTML code, so it'll know how to read it. So in this HTML element, we're going to need a body element. This is where we're going to store all of our content in the body. So to create a body element, hit the less than sign again, and then type body, and then hit the greater than sign. And then the closing element is added for us, so hit enter. So now everything that goes between these two lines is going to be in the body of our HTML page. So now this is the most important line. We're going to create a canvas. A canvas is the element which we can use to draw things on the screen and to make games. You can think of it the same way as a painter's canvas, which is a blank piece of paper which an artist will draw strokes on, etc. So to create a canvas, hit the less than sign again and type canvas. Don't close the element yet. First we need to give it a few properties. The first is we have to give the canvas an ID property so that we can reference it later. It's basically like a name. So to do that, hit ID, type ID, hit the equal sign, and then hit the quotes sign. So we need to give our element a name. I'm going to call it game, all within quotes. Then hit space. There's two more properties we need to add. So the first is the width of the canvas. How wide is the canvas? So we're going to hit width, hit the equal sign, quotes again, and we're going to specify how many pixels wide this canvas is going to be. So I'm going to make mine 600 pixels wide. So to do that, just type 600, all in quotes, then hit space after that. So the final property we need to give our canvas is the height property. How many pixels high is it? So to do that, type height, hit the equal sign and the quote sign, and I'm going to make mine 500 pixels high. So type 500, And then after that last quote symbol, we're going to close the canvas element by hitting the greater than sign. Okay, so now that we have a canvas element and our HTML page set up, go ahead and save it. File, save. Alright, so now we need to create our JavaScript file. This is going to be the file where we actually program our game and we draw things to the canvas we've created. So to do that, go to File, and then under New, select File again. Select your project, and we're going to name this file main.js. So the JS stands for JavaScript. Okay, so we actually have to go back to our index page. There's one more thing we need to add now that we've created our JavaScript file. Hit enter after the canvas element. So the last line we have to add to this index file is a script element, which points the index page to the JavaScript file that we just created. So to do that, hit the less than sign and type script and hit space. And so for the script element, there's only one property we need to give it, and that's the source of the file. So type source equals and the quotation symbol. And as you see, main.js pops up already, so we know we're in the right place. So type main.js, and then after the quotation, hit the greater than sign. So this is going to tell the web browser, look at this main.javascript file and run it. So hit save again. And now we're totally done with the index HTML page, and we just have to focus on the JavaScript page. So the first thing we need to do on our JavaScript is to get the canvas that we made in the HTML page. The canvas is in a different page, so we need to import it into the JavaScript. So to do that, we're going to create a canvas variable that's going to hold the canvas information. So type canvas, and then equals, space, type documents, dot, and then type get elements by ID, and then hit the parentheses and hit the quotation symbol. So this is going to be the name that we gave our canvas. So if we look back at the index, I gave my canvas the ID of game. So in these quotation marks, write game, and then after that last parentheses, hit the semicolon button. Okay, so what this line is doing is it's creating a variable called canvas, and to get the canvas from the HTML page, document stands for the whole project that we have. So it's looking through the whole project that we've made, and it's getting the element called game. So now we have a canvas element that stores the canvas that we've created on the HTML page. I know it's a little tricky, but this isn't too important. This is just something we have to do for every web project. So after this line, hit enter. And on the next line, we need to create a context variable. So we have a canvas. You can think of that as like a big rectangle on your screen. But the rectangle alone doesn't do anything. There's a context variable within the canvas that actually knows how to draw and run the actual game. So to get that, we need to create a context variable. So we usually name our context variable CTX, which is short for context, and then hit equals, and then write canvas, which is referring to the canvas element we just made. Hit dot, and then get context, parentheses, and then hit the quotation symbol. And in these quotations, write 2D. So that tells us that we're dealing with a 2D game and not a 3D game. And then after that last parentheses, hit the semicolon. And then we want to save the file that we just made. Okay, so that's the skeleton of every web project you're going to be making. So that's all the hard work so far. So go to the index page and let's run it. So I'm on index.html and I'm going to hit the play button. And that's going to open up a web browser which will hold our index file. So as you see, nothing, there's just a blank screen. which is okay for now because we haven't actually drawn anything yet. So now I'm going to teach you how to draw something. So go to the JavaScript file again and skip a couple lines. Okay, so first, before we draw something, we have to tell the computer what color we want to draw things in. So to set the color of the drawing functions, first we need to refer to the context variable. So write ctx, and then hit dot, and then write fill style. Then hit equals, then hit quotation marks, and give the computer a color. So I'll just go with red, but you can pick blue, yellow, green, and any of the basic colors. Then after the last quotation mark, hit the semicolon. So now the computer knows when we want to draw something to draw it in that color, which I chose red. So hit enter to go to the next line. So now we're actually going to draw our rectangle. So hit ctx, since our context knows how to actually do the drawing. Hit dot, and then write fill rect, and then hit the parentheses symbol. Okay, so this is going to draw a rectangle, and within these parentheses we need to tell the computer where to draw the rectangle and how big to draw it. So first hit 0, 0. So this is telling the computer, okay, this rectangle, I want you to start 0, 0 in the origin of the canvas. Hit comma again. Okay, this next space is going to be where we tell the computer how wide we want the rectangle to be. So for this case, I want the rectangle to be as large as the canvas to fill up the whole space. So to do that, write canvas dot width, comma. So now we need to tell it the height of our rectangle. And to do that, as before, we write canvas dot height. Then after that parentheses, go ahead and hit a semicolon and file save. So if we did this right, we should be drawing a red rectangle that's as big as the canvas that we created. So to check, go back to index and hit play. And sure enough, we have a large rectangle that's filled red, and this is going to show us how big the canvas is. Okay, that's all for this tutorial. In part 2, we'll learn about all the different drawing functions that we can use to make games with. So I'll see you there.